Start by creating a new project. Next, generate some regions for your world by clicking Generate Random. Adjust a few settings on the biomes. Click Generate Random. Adjust the detail level on the output. When you're happy with your settings, click Build Mesh. Wait a few seconds while WorldKit goes off and generates your world for you. And there you have it, a fully generated 3D world. You can zoom in, pan around, and take a look at your terrain up close. If you're not 100% happy with all the details in your world, you can go back here. I'm adjusting the map scale and the scale of the details on the output, and I'm going to try changing the biome assignments and generation a little bit, adding some more detail to the coast, the shoreline, and adding a few more regions. I'm going to try generating a few different land shapes to see what I like. Here I've got something I think looks interesting, so I'm going to go ahead and generate some more biomes for it and regenerate. So wait a few seconds here for WorldKit to generate another mesh for me. And there we go. This one looks pretty cool. I'm going to go and turn off the coloring on the terrain so I can get a little bit better look at what it might look like just as dirt or regular terrain. Adjust the elevation details a little bit. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Turn off the water plane to get a look at what the world looks like underwater. WorldKit generates a complete underwater scape that slopes away from the shoreline, kind of like it would do in real life, away from an island or a plate. You can toggle the rivers on and off. Sometimes it's fun to play with different biome layouts and arrangements. Sometimes a particular island or landform can look completely different if you just leave the coastline the same but generate a different collection of biomes for it. And there we go. So I like the general shape and layout that I got here, but it represents a bit too much space. So what I'm going to do is reduce the map detail scale and regenerate here. And what that'll do is make the world seem like a smaller amount of area, but with the same general shape. And now you can see that we have larger details, larger mountains and larger canyon walls, slightly fewer rivers, but in the same general coastal outline with our mountains in the same spots. So this makes the same map generate a smaller land area in game space or movie space, world space, whatever you're working with. And that covers most of the basic random generation functionality in WorldKit. But where the real power is in WorldKit is in the manual editing. So I'm going to turn on manual edit of the regions here, and you can see that I can just quickly paint around and completely adjust the shape of the regions, the shape of the landforms. I can change my brush size if I want to get finer details in there. You can carve away or build up, and even if you need to do things like cut a landform completely in half and make two different islands where there used to be one, or join landforms together, that works as well. Here I'm going to start carving out some sort of little inland lake with an island in it. I mean, I guess it's technically still ocean because it's connected to the outside body of water, but you can get some interesting shapes this way. And I'll regenerate here and take a look at what it looks like. So this type of paint-like functionality mixed with the procedural generation that WorldKit does on top of it can be really powerful because it gives you a lot of creative control. You can build exactly what you want to build and yet still have it look plausible or somewhat realistic, even if a bit stylized or exaggerated. So the other cool thing is you're not at all limited to the regions and the placement of the mountain ridges and river systems that the generation algorithms place for you. You can go in and you can completely customize all of the paths of the water, the rivers, and the mountain ridges. All of that is toggleable and completely drawable. WorldKit has some nice tools for helping you smooth out your splines as you're drawing. You can go back in non-destructively and toggle different splines between ridges or no-op or mountain or river. And yeah, I mean, really, if you wanted to, you could start with a completely blank canvas with no regions, just a big single region with your landform, and then you could fill in all of the rivers and mountain ridges yourself. This is actually the technique we've taken to generate some real-life projects with maps based off of WorldKit. WorldKit also has a system for generating completely custom types of biomes. So if you notice the Manage Custom Biomes button over there on the left, if you go into that, you can actually tweak all the details of different types of biomes, such as the soil slope angle, terracing, how soft or dense the soil is in a certain biome, what the sort of discrepancy between the highs and lows is going to be. I'm not going to show that in this video because it's a little bit more in depth, but if you need complete control over the different types of biomes in your world, you can do that. It of course takes a little bit longer. WorldKit does a little less of the heavy lifting for you, but you can get really targeted and specific results that way. And we've also used that system to generate some real world projects such as Robogenesis off of WorldKit. I will bring up the Robogenesis WorldKit project at the end and give you a look at what that looks like. Another thing worth mentioning is that you can mix the two methods as well. You can do mostly procedural automatic generation using randoms, and then you can bring in specific details that you want. For example, like we've got a volcano in Robogenesis that you'll see in the bottom left corner here, and we wanted kind of a more realistic looking landform for that, so we imported a already generated piece of terrain for that. So here is the world for Robogenesis, and this it's actually about 8 by 8 kilometers, so 64 square kilometers, but it's designed to look like a lot more in-engine. It's designed to feel a lot bigger. So we did sort of exaggerate some of the landforms and try and fit more into a smaller space. It's also why it's pretty square looking. And here we've actually got too much space. I think this is generated at 8, and I believe we generated the output for Robogenesis at about 4 on the detail scale. So I'll try regenerating it here with a bit more exaggerated features, and you'll see what I mean by the scale compression and the feature exaggeration. And there it is. And I have the height scale set a little bit too high here, which is why everything looks crazy steep. So I'll just set that down to about what we have in game. And yeah, that's it right there. That's it for the demo today. Our backers on Kickstarter will have access to the alpha and beta releases of the product coming up shortly here. So keep your eyes open for that. And thanks for watching.